Welcome back, everybody. We are here, SPCS lower bracket round one. It is week 8 here. We've got a good matchup on our hands today. It is Infernal Blade versus Ignition Pyroclasm. For this match, we got a few other matches today, but this is the stream match. And as I said, lower bracket round one. It is elimination time. No
True.
more second chances.
Yeah, it is do or die for both of these teams here. But let's take a look at this bracket. So play-ins, you got to see Infernal Blade kind of cook, right? And then they made their way up into the round 1 scenario against Sirens. They lost to a 3-0 deficit. But you look at Ignition, they took a map out of Ragnarok Hella. So coming up into this semi-final lower bracket, well, the lower bracket round 1, right? They have a bit of a upturn to that opponent, which is Infernal Blade. So they got something going forward for themselves. But Infernal Blade, we know the roster. We know what they could do with their swords and their cats. Like, this team has been cooking for this division, I'd probably say. But Ignition, you as well too. So it's definitely going to be close. 4 and 5 seeded up in lower bracket round 1. But let's see what these two teams could do, especially.
Yeah, it's all about momentum here in the playoffs. Said no second chances. You got to carry your small victories through to big victories and try and put together a run, especially that you lost last week. You have to really carry that momentum and try and build yourself up to a big run to grand finals here. A lot of really strong teams still left in the tournament. Sirens, I think they only dropped one map in Swiss, so you're gonna have to play them at the end of that lower bracket run. But you still have teams, Mass Effect in the mix there, really strong. So it's going to be tough for these teams, but I think both these teams have what it takes. They played decently well in Swiss, seed 4 and 8, I believe. Infernal Blade seed 8, Ignition Pyroclasm seed 4. Similar record, 2 and 3, 3 and 2. And it's going to be a very interesting. We have the map pick. It's Ignition Pyroclasm's map pick since they're the higher seed. They picked Lijiang, and they opted to ban Wrecking Ball first. This is something that we very much expected right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially when one of these teams run that Wrecking Ball composition. Inferno Blade, that's probably their strongest. But hey, if they want to try something new, like that Zarya composition, like how we kind of got to talk about before, like the team of Inferno Blade, that was something that they were trying to hint. But this is very, very interesting. Mr. Mountain Mike, the only one with the Wrecking Ball, but the rest of the roster cooking with Torbs. But let's take a look at that Infernal Blade roster. Their Swiss record is 1-1. And looking at it, we got Florida, Mr. Mountain Mike, Somber, Telemundo, 34, Taiji, Cloud Spats, and Promo. So Infernal Blade, let's see what you can slice and dice here as your cats here.
Yeah, when I talked to Mike as the captain here, when I talked to him, they said they really want to lean on the ball comp. He's a very known ball player in the community. If you've been around the block, Tranquility back in the day, you know this man is a ball player and a Junkrat player, and you know he's pretty good at those characters. So it's a real strength for Infernal Blade to lead into. Not on this map, ball ban, but we could get a chance to see Florida in on tank instead, as we see Ignition Pyroclasm's full roster here. AJ, Coolies, Taco, Little X-Ray God, Xlera, Chababa, and Pinya. And I believe we will have Chababa playing on a different account in lobby, so you'll see his name as a void unit instead.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, Ignition Pyro coming in pretty strong here. I'd probably still bet their competition level between this team is going to be probably to its highest, right? I expect both to go long run in it here up in our lower bracket to a map 5, but who knows? It's Overwatch. It's the lower bracket. Anything could happen to upsets, but it's going to happen very, very shortly.
Yeah, anything can happen. We'll jump into the map shortly, as we said, Lijiang Tower. And when I talked to Coolies, as the captain of Ignition Pyroclasm, he said they really like to play kind of these Sig and Diva comps, a little bit more of a middle ground between like brawl comps to the Diva and then kind of the more standardy Sigma poke comps. So we'll see what they opt to play on Lijiang. I think definitely a more brawl favorite map. So if they really want to lead into the Diva, that's probably what we'll see. But as we saw in some other matches that went to Lijiang, it's quite possible to see ball ban. A lot of teams like ball and Lijiang for some reason now. I get it.
Yeah.
But also Malga Hazard can be pretty interesting. So we'll see what these teams opt to play. Farabhan, I think, is pretty much just for Gardens. You agree with that? Just for lead on Gardens. So
Yeah.
maybe not too much to read from that one.
Yeah, it's either going to be from the gardens or I believe it's the city center, somewhere around that. But yeah, I expect both of the teams with these bans here to come out pretty strong. They definitely don't want to lose this first map. They want to have the highest momentum builder heading up into this first. But even after it, they want to run with the scoreline. But as we get to see here, Ignition and Inferno coming out with their team compositions. It's going to be a little interesting, right? Maybe they could switch some things up throughout the series here, but this is first map. I do expect some things to be a little basic, probably some comfort picks from these two.
Yeah, we'll see. We see Florida locking in that Zarya, kind of like they told us. Florida, another player that's kind of been around the block, been in a lot of these tournaments for a long time now. Someone that I've played against a few times. So interesting to see how they'll play on this Zarya. New perks for Zarya, pretty cool. As we see both teams rocking with Sojourn and Tracer, Ignition Pyroclasm looking to rotate to the point first with the Ramatra, not opting to match the Zarya like they showed in the initial bit. And they're just going to stage here on point, try and poke out this entry for Infernal Blade.
Yeah, in Ignition, you're able to find slows with the Ramatra pick, so this is actually pretty beneficial for this Ignition side. But I'm really wondering what Infernal Blade could do. They could kind of shield an opponent up in and just engage, probably.
Yeah, as we see the Zarya look to push point here, Ramatra throws up the shield, says no to that push. Florida on the Zarya has to back out a little bit, but he's getting a lot of charge on this Zarya. Could be pretty devastating if this fight goes very long here. As we see Sojourn also charging up some shots, and the dive comes in from the Genji, looking to dash in on the supports, does not find any value, and AJ on that Sojourn finds one, Fragster with the punches, gets the Kiriko down. It's even trades though, 2 picks found back for Infernal Blade, and it's messy on this point here. Pulse is also thrown from Xlera, is not able to find the target, but does get promo down low enough for Xlera to find the pick as well. Kill on Zarya, just Genji left on point for Infernal Blade. This cap has been ticking up the entire time, yeah?
Yeah, Ignition, Xlera finding multiple picks there, but as well, the Sojourn able to find such much value. Ignition, though, they are running with a great ultimate economy. But as well, Inferno Blade, they're trying to build up theirs. I wouldn't be surprised here if Inferno Blade was to try and get some aggression, as we get to see.
Yeah, first pick from Somber on that Kiriko. Good find. Tracer out of the fight for a bit. Sojourn taking some pressure from that Zarya, walking at them. Genji trying to find the Sojourn in the back, get another kill, but the Tracer is back now. That one-person advantage is gone, and it's actually flipped the other way. Coolies with a return pick finds TG on the Genji. Infernal Blade is down 1, and they still haven't had that much pressure. Opting to use the Kitsune Rush, trying to get a lockdown on this point, putting a lot of pressure onto Ramatra, extremely low, but the beat comes out to save him. And the grab is well thrown in, trying to get the kills. They find some messy fight here. Genji, Sojourn, and Zarya still alive. Zarya is finding the value, finding the picks, and that Kitsune Rush, I don't think it's what you want if you're Ignition Pyroclasm.
Yeah, a nasty little ultimate there coming out from one of the sides. It's a bit too unfortunate, though, from Coolies using that Kitsune Rush. But you get to see Ignition, right, with this pause happening. They don't have the 2 support ultimates. So you're going to be looking at Ignition go up in a tad bit blind without support ults, but they could kind of sustain probably with speed. I don't know.
We'll see as we get thrown into a tech pause here. A little bit of technical difficulties for one of the team of Ignition Pyroclasm, I believe. And it's interesting to see this interaction between the Zarya and the Ramatra. Because the Zarya is able to get a lot of charge here, but it's not able to kind of lock down permanent damage because of the Ramatra's shield rotation as well as the block, just kind of gatekeeping the Zarya from being able to access that backline. So maybe the Ramatra kind of just hard countering the Zarya right now. Maybe that's the big overarching theory as to how Ignition Pyroclasm's got this lead.
So yeah, you know, how you said about the Ramatra, I feel like the Ramatra is building that momentum forward for Ignition. The slows are, a key factor with that composition. You find them with the slows, you get the eliminations, and I feel like that's what Ignition Pyroclasm is definitely doing here tonight against Infernal Blade here up in our map 1, first entry. But Infernal Blade, you do have this point recap. Can you find some answers heading back up into this? Ignition Pyroclasm, though, with 2 DPS ultimates, this could get a tad bit dangerous.
Yeah, it could get dangerous, but there's a Lucio beat for promo here. So if anything gets too dicey, maybe with that Ramatra ultimate, that's your panic button right there. So as we see both teams kind of posturing Infernal Blade, all that point starting to cap up for the first time here. AJ looking for some value with that ultimate, but promo finds the kill on Xlera first. And TG opting to Blade as well, trying to push some tempo, find some extra kills, but AJ, the Ignition Pyroclasm just kites out. Blade extends a little bit too far forward, and they find a pick, and they can push in here with an advantage. AJ with that overclock ultimate finds the opposition Sojourn, and is finding all the picks here. 3 for AJ in this fight. Ramatra ult on top. They want to win this fight right now, and Ajax on the beat. Ajax on the beat. Promo trying to last gasp, save that beat to contest the point to get it to overtime, but we will not. Oh, TG's got the touch. It's okay. Lucio still not finding, is barely alive. No, Xlera cleanup is too strong. Tracer doing quite a bit of work here in these late fights, actually. Really strong play for Xlera.
Ignition able to find a lot from Xlera here. Pyroclasm cooking with the Tracer player, but I gotta say, Infernal Blade still definitely have a great shot at this composition what of Ignition Pyroclasm is running. But now you have Xlera. They're going to be rolling out up on a TP here, so I do expect Ignition Pyroclasm to get to this side of the objective a tad bit quicker than Infernal Blade. But with the ball ban here coming out of map 1, I kind of expect Infernal Blade to take it down a notch, because it is their favored comp, but they're trying their best here.
Yeah, they're trying their best. They're finding some decent value. It's just not enough. It's not enough consistently to really secure some team fight wins. As we see TG kind of on this off angle poking out on a Void unit on this Lucio. As we see Infernal Blade struggling to make their way across here. They're gonna opt actually to go to the left side white room and clear this angle. And I think it's really gonna have to be a super slow push for Infernal Blade here with the Zarya. They need to get the Zarya really high charge. And then when you get all of that charge, then you can kind of barrel through like a wrecking ball, trying to find some picks on the back line. Yep.
That is
there we go. There's the Xlera off the map, question mark. Zarya still with this really high charge here, trying to bully this Ramatra very, very low. Will they solidify the pick on this Ramatra? Florida trying his best to get that, but they get the cap instead. It's worth it. Lucio for a Void unit will find his way out of this fight without getting picked. And Infernal Blade, they start taking up now. Ignition Pyroclasm only with 17%.
Yeah, and Infernal Blade here running with it. You're going to get to see Infernal Blade possibly speed that Telemundo ultimate around this control point. But Ignition Pyro, I like how they're playing around this one. Very, very much a mistake.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Two DPS off the map for Ignition Pyroclasm. That was crazy. They're gonna just full kite here. A question mark on that Kiriko ult, maybe not necessary, but you know, it's okay. They could have opted to take that 4v5. They kite out, you drop the Kitsune Rush, it's kind of whatever. You still have a beat in the back pocket, and as you were saying, you have that Cassidy High Noon, kind of gets you some space, gets you some time to build up to that Graviton Surge or that Genji Blade. You see Ramatra pushing early with a slow, strong speed boost and High Noon response. They catch a Void unit on the Lucio. Kiriko Gates in response for Ignition Pyroclasm, looking to find some picks, some trades anywhere. Yes, that is 2. Somber down from AJ on the Sojourn, and a pulse bomb pick on top from Xlera with 2. And that's the flip here. Infernal Blade with 70%, and they still got some decent ultimates in the bank to try and get a reflip here.
Yeah, so Infernal Blade, they are going to be bringing back Florida's ultimates. Same with the Blade, right? It's up in the name of Inferno. Maybe they can go up in with that as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to sustain an ultimate like Franksters with that beat Matrix. And yeah, Ignition, you have a chance here.
Yeah, look at this off angle from TG right now. He's searching, trying to get this final bit of blade charge to be able to maybe end this point and get this reflip early here, but is getting pressured out by that Soj a little bit too far early, and the Ramatra ultimate pop, beat forced in response, but Telemundo goes down. No Cassidy on the side of Infernal Blade, as we see some off main fights, duels there, but grab used as well. I'm not sure about that grab, but it's okay. You have one more shot at this with the Kiriko Rush. I really want that grab back. You really want it back.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate from the side of Infernal Blade. That last fight, we got to see the scenario of 3 lost ultimates from the Infernal Blade, but Ignition, Pyroclasm, look at this. They're going to have another Pulse Bomb from X-Lara. We know what Lara could do up on that Tracer. Ooh. And just getting set up. Ooh.
Almost one clip on the Lucio. Almost. Not able to find the connection on the Pulse Bomb. This is the opening Infernal Blade needed. Telemundo gets a pick on that Tracer. AJ responds with a pick on Florida. No tank for Infernal Blade, but that Cassidy is rolling with it's off the map. The boop is huge. It's winnable for Ignition Pyroclasm, but TG looking to clutch up the fight here. No Blade, no problem. He will find some closing picks here. Sojourn gone. Tracer, no recall, close to gone. Lucio's chilling on the outside of this fight. Just trying to get some extra contest. Maybe they can get a full re before the point flips back, but I don't think they will. A Void unit is down now. Infernal Blade, they got themselves a new lease of life here on this Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, as you said, they're staying alive here if you are Infernal Blade, but I expect Promo to speed Telemundo around here with this ultimate. It needs to be popped here very, very quickly if Infernal Blade wants to have a chance against this Ignition.
No shield, no slow for that Ramatra. Now could be the time for that Cassidy High Noon. A Void unit, he makes up for the mistakes before, finds the pick on that Cassidy. Beat, not really as much value as you wanted from Promo. AJ on the Soj, putting down some suppressing fire. Ramatra in the front line, doing all of the big damage. Tanks are gone. This will be Ignition Pyroclasm's point, and this should be their map as well, without a crazy contest fight coming. Yep, that's the map right there. Wow, explosive first map for Ignition Pyroclasm. They getting that map win on Lijiang Tower. It's a very impressive pace that they took that last fight at.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like the aggression was definitely there from Ignition. They read the mistakes from Infernal Blade. I feel like if you're Infernal Blade, you gotta try and tend to not use that much of ultimates. We got to see a scenario where Infernal Blade dropped 3 ultimates when they only needed to drop 2 or 1. So I'm hoping that Infernal Blade doesn't pull that mistake against Ignition here once more tonight. But if Ignition is able to read those mistakes over and over again, I do expect Ignition Pyroclasm to keep, running with this one.
Yeah, Infernal Blade kind of grew into that map. The last point, Lijiang Tower, they were playing quite a bit better in their kind of neutral fights without ultimates. Still, those mistakes with the ultimates creeping through a bit. Some of those fights, you're already down 1, choosing to invest a lot more than maybe you should have. But those are things that can get ironed out between maps. Nervous. It's an elimination map. It's the first elimination round of the season. There's gonna be nerves on the field for both sides. Ignition Pyroclasm showing right now that they got them on lock right for the moment. But we will see what the second map is. Of course, Infernal Blade will have a map pick and a first map ban. And most importantly now, Ignition Pyroclasm cannot ban ball.
Yeah, and maybe this is the worrying events for Ignition Pyroclasm. Infernal Blade cooks up on that Wrecking Ball composition. So I do expect them to pick a favorable map that goes up into that favor of that ball comp. But as well, if Ignition Pyro wants to get a tad bit aggressive, they could bring out Brawl, they could do Dive, they could do Poke, they could do whatever they can do to counter that composition on what Infernal Blade's going to run. So it's definitely going to be interesting here heading up into this next. Will Infernal Blade get an upset against the Ignition Pyroclasm, especially with Ignition banning the Wrecking Ball that first map? Or will Ignition keep holding their lead and go 0-2?
Yeah, I'm looking at the potential maps that could be here. What might be good for Infernal Blade to pick. I think we saw it wasn't on stream, of course, but in that 3-0 loss to Sirens, they almost won that map of Route 66. Route 66, that last map that they played, very
Yeah.
very close. If you watched any of the people streaming it, you would have seen how hard they pushed Sirens in that last map. So maybe that's a potential option for them. They did play ball on that map as well, so probably something they're very well versed in. But I think maybe you want to save that map pick of Escort to a little bit later in the series, where you might need that surefire map win.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm kind of feeling that they could go maybe pushier if they want to bring that high aggression pace of a Wrecking Ball composition, or they could go, Flashpoint. They could also rock with Flashpoint here. I feel like those are two great map modes to favor that composition of the ball. But, if we go anywhere else, like that favors Brawl, I kind of feel that there's going to be an upset there.
Yeah, and we have the map pick in for you guys. Infernal Blade will pick Route 66 as their map 2. So we will likely see similar things to what they played in that match versus Siren. A lot of ball. We'll probably see Genji as well, Sojourn, stuff we've seen from them on the previous map, but key difference, ball instead of Zarya. So we will see Mr. Mountain Mike swap in, most likely. Not confirmed yet, but it will probably happen, guys.
Oh, I mean, I'm excited. I know from like the behind the scenes intel, I usually don't tell this to anyone, but I was actually the team captain of Mr. Mountain Mike, and we won a championship together. I was the main support player, Mr. Mountain Mike was the tank player, and he was rocking the ball. Like, I know how Mike plays the ball. So if Mike were to run the ball here against Ignition, I do expect this to be high pace, especially when I am his former team captain. He doesn't want to upset the former team cap.
Yeah, you've got the intel, you got all the ball knowledge on his gameplay. So we'll be very very curious as to what the ban is, and we do have the ban for Infernal as well. It is Sojourn. They said
Oh,
you guys were doing too much with that Sojourn on map 1. You don't get it. I maybe they'll play Ash instead, because I think the Sojourn did some decent work for them as well.
yeah, now it's going to force Poke probably up on the defensive stages. I could also see Sigma getting played here. It just depends. But as well, if Ignition wanted to run the Ram to keep working with the slows, they could definitely do it. But, they just got to pick something that best fits for themselves.
Yeah, and Ignition Pyroclasm, like they told us, they like to play 6, so maybe they're happy with this Route 66. Maybe they feel they can take it to this ball comp with a kind of Sig, more static poke on Route 66. Yeah. It's something that's historically been pretty good, double flex support Sig comps. Just post up on that high ground gas station.
Very true.
It's very, very difficult to assault with any dive comp, Winston, Ball, Doom, anything. It's quite difficult. So maybe that's the plan here for Ignition Pyroclasm. Ignition is banning Kiriko. So maybe looking to pick a piece out of that ball comp. Can't ban ball, we can ban Kiriko.
Yeah. So Kiriko, you're taking out the Suzus. You're also taking out the double TP, or the infinite TP perk that lasts for like a good 2 seconds. I gotta say that's a bit broken, but Ignition, I feel like this is a great pick of ban here. Now it's going to switch up that backline, and usually whenever you get to see a ball type composition that goes quick, you do expect to see Kiri played up in the back to just get there with the TPs in case. But as well, like if you get caught off of an opposition, you can go up in. But hey, we don't got Kiri anymore. You got to play a different support here if you are the Inferno Blade. So they could definitely still run this Lucio if they wanted to play quick, but maybe it's going to be a tad bit more slower for this ball type comp.
Yeah, maybe throw it back to a Brig Zen Overwatch 1 backline with ball. Maybe that's
That would
a
be
maybe
crazy.
that's a play. Maybe that's the play. Maybe it's Juno Brig. I think that's maybe more likely Juno Brig. Um, you still kind of getting that speed to maybe help the rest of the team join in with that bull dive. Brig, maybe not. Maybe let me cook. Let me cook. Ash Mercy Pocket. Ash Mercy Pocket is the
Ash
play.
Mercy Pocket.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm
this is
wondering
the
if
thought
we're actually
process.
going to see that.
This is the thought process. You play a support that can kind of go in with the ball. So Juno kind of, Moira can kind of do it, especially with the new Fade. I'm such
Yeah.
like I'm very very high on the Moira perks. I think they're very very strong. That's just me. But there's supports you can play that kind of follow in with the ball, and then you think about that other support pick, and you're like, okay, what do you kind of play that gets you a lot of value? And I think maybe the most consistent one might actually be damage boosted Ash or damage boosted Echo. So that would be there's some very interesting things here. These bans shake up a lot of different things. No Surgeon, that's a standard DPS pick off the table. No Kiriko, standard support pick off the table. We're gonna probably see some very very weird.
Yeah, I definitely do agree here, Vox. And, I'm wondering, from some poke compositions that I've gotten to see from some other teams, they do like to bring out a Bastion. So maybe
Ooh.
we're able to get to see some Bastion played here. But as well, I do expect the Ashe getting played for even a backline, throwing in those dynamites, getting out with Coach Gun. That's always great. But maybe even a Torbjorn for the
Ooh.
defense. Because I mean, Torb turrets can get stuck to the walls now. So basically anywhere.
Yeah, if we've been paying attention to a lot of the streams, we've seen quite a bit of Torb this season on broadcast. Very strong hero now. Perks make him very, very strong. Always been a good anti-dive character, but now his neutral has just been beefed up with the ability to place that turret anywhere, with the ability to get I believe it's a full reload when you click your overload, give you that armor, give you a new reload, give you boosted attack speed, I
Yeah.
believe. So Torb very, very strong, but no Torb selected. The Infernal Blade comp is pretty much locked in here. They're on defense. They won't really get a chance to switch it up. But Ignition Pyroclasm, they still got some time, and it's Juno Zen as the backline for
Yeah.
both. Nope, swap to Lucio for Ignition Pyroclasm, but still. Juno Zen, quite surprising, with Cassidy Genji for Infernal Blade, and it's Widow Genji off the rip for Ignition Pyroclasm, but I expect that Widow to swap shortly.
Yeah, and if you are the Widowmaker of Ignition, you're probably looking for a forward pick here if you are, Xlara. But if you're Fragster, you're able to, defense yourself with that defense matrix. So I do expect the high aggression dive to come into play for Ignition.
Ooh, trying to look fast dive on that Widow cut, but it's a counter dive from the Diva, and Genji of Ignition Pyroclasm finds two, and Cooley finds a pick on the Cassidy. Telemundo down as well. It will be Infernal Blade losing this first fight here on Route 66. Mike's still alive on that ball, but Wrecking Ball tends to live all the time anyway. So it's effectively a full team fight reset.
Yeah, and let's see what happens here for Infernal Blade. Maybe they could find an early answer here on this Ignition Pyro. And as we get to see, if you are Infernal Blade, Mr. Mountain Mike is always there to slam, so I do like to see this.
Diva demeched here early, could spell a death to the cap push here for Ignition Pyroclasm. Two more picks. Cooley's on the Juno gone, Fragster, Baby Diva gone. AJ finds a trade pick, but it won't really amount to much here. It's just on that Zen, as they will stabilize at the end of the point here. Now it's a little bit interesting because Ignition Pyroclasm has to push in really far to get control of this card. So there's a lot of area for Infernal Blade to set up a...
Ooh.
Wow. Good shots from Telemundo, picking out the Tracer, stalling this timer down even more. 2 minutes left, and I was just about to say, Infernal Blade has a lot more space to set up a kill box for a Genji and Wrecking Ball dive here.
Yes, I very much agree. Inferno Blade, Telemundo, they will have their ultimate, but they need to be aware of that Diva, as we have to see Fragster just get very much aggressive. But AJ12, hold on.
AJ12 with the blade finds promo. No Transcendence available, but Mike trades one back with a kill on a Void unit. That will be an interesting thing to see, but AJ will find another one on TG. The Juno Ray could be popped here to solidify this point, but I don't think they need to Xlair and Fragster dive in and find the Juno Cassidy. The Cassidy not enough to protect the Juno, and Mike, he got out, but his team lost the first point cap here.
Yeah, so Infernal Blade, you gotta reset here. You gotta rethink your plan into this Ignition Pyroclasm. Playing roster
Zen's caught out there. Zen's caught out early. It's a long stagger now for Infernal Blade. They're not going to have a good position on this second. That cart's going to be able to push up to the kind of the first corner area. And you still didn't get that Juno Ray out. So your Juno Ray is going to get matched here. And I don't really know if you have that many tools to kind of back up afterwards. You have that Transcendence maybe. Genji Blade later possibly could be a clincher. But Diva Bomb could get a lot of space. Cassidy will find an opening pick here on the Lucio. That'll give Infernal Blade some more time to think about what they want to do for this Juno raid coming up.
Yeah, and let's see what Infernal Blade does. They got 3 ultimates, almost 4 with the Blade. I do expect Mr. Mountain Mike to use those ball ultimate there, but even well as Somber.
The dive comes in, trying to use that speed ring to get onto the Zen. The Cassidy protects the Zen long enough for the trance to come out, and they're able to demech Diva as well. The bomb comes out to try and get a reset, finds one, and the opposing bomb as well for Xlair will find TG. It's up 1 person for Ignition Pyroclasm here, 2 support ults as well, but Man Mike on that ball will be able to stall this point for a very long time. You have Juno Ray coming back, High Noon as well. It's holdable here for Infernal Blade. It's possible to get a fight win, and with those mines as well, you will force a fight with a beat engine Genji Blade. They're looking to seal it right now. 3 for AJ on that Genji. Massive picks. The mines for the ball not able to stop the push going on to the back line here.
Yeah, and if you're Mr. Mountain Mike, you're just gonna try and probably stall some time for yourself here to probably just die. So HA12 able to get that. But Infernal Blade, you still got ultimates coming back. You have this, Orbital Ray, but as well, Telemundo, we know what they could do with their Chaos Ultimate. Ignition Pyroclasm, they got 3 minutes to do something here, Box. And especially with this Orbital Ray of the Juno, I do expect this team to go aggressive.
Yeah, they are going to go aggressive with that Juno ring, and they will find the opposing Juno. They were able to get the raid down, but no value can be found for Infernal Blade. Ignition Pyroclasm rolling through with their Juno Ray, finding all of the picks, and it's looking dicier for Infernal Blade. It's going to be a very fast push, but no ultimates on the field for Ignition Pyroclasm just yet. They will have a small window where they can maybe find a fight win and stabilize on this 3rd point.
Yeah, and let's see what happens here. Infernal Blade, you still got a cast ultimate, but okay, the dash up in, this is good.
Early pick, but a Void unit trades back 1. AJ finds another. The Cassidy, can they find a pick on the Genji? Yes, High Noon is available here to maybe try and seal this fight. It's very messy. Xlair finding constant trades. It will be an incredibly messy fight here, especially with stick on.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know if it matters, but it forces the High Noon. I don't think the rest of Ignition Pyroclasm is in a position to capitalize here. High Noon will space out for a bit, and they will get the ball rolling again. Wow, that was a very masterful pick, and that could be the point right here. Extended fight going out. Diva looking to find the supports again. Zen caught out. Juno stuck in the corner. Can't help Mike on the cart. It will be a slow death for Mike. Bomb at the door will find the spacing for Ignition Pyroclasm to cap this 3rd point with 1 minute and 11 seconds. I'm very scared, guys. I'm very scared.
Ignition Pyroclasm cooking with the Tracer player. A nasty post bomb coming out there. But, you know, I love the placement of the bomb there to not have Infernal Blade touch that, obviously. But 1 minute and 11 seconds for this Ignition Pyroclasm side. If you are them coming back, I probably do expect them to bring some more aggro play into this Inferno side if they want to take more off of them. But yeah, if you're Inferno Blade here, you got to do everything that it takes against this Ignition Pyroclasm to build yourself back up into this. So it's going to be extremely difficult. You don't want to be pulling a mistake, and Inferno Blade, you're going to be running out with Mr. Mountain Mike still playing the ball here, so definitely do watch that. But you're looking at Ignition Pyroclasm, which we're looking at that roster. That's pretty stacked, not gonna lie.
Yeah, AJ doing an amazing job on the Genji, finding a lot of these picks, Xlera as well, finding picks, trading out these fights, making them really long, and then the clutch comes through at the end for Ignition Pyroclasm. They've got the it factor right now to seal this point, or this map, bring it to a map point. But we will see Infernal Blade get a shot at their attack here. I think the ball comp is maybe stronger on attack than it is defense. A little bit of cope that Infernal Blade fans can maybe bring to the table here, as we will see Ignition Pyroclasm playing that Sigma comp. No Zen Ilari this time with Ash Genji. So very, very strong poke and angle pressure as TG gets the better of AJ in that first little duel in the small alleyway. Ball trying to knock players off this high ground, and the dive is successful. They found Xlera as well. No DPS available for Pyroclasm. Secondary dive hit comes through, looking to find a pick on the supports. We'll just get a roll through and force them back. Mountain Man Mike still living on this ground, trying to find a Genji as well, forcing deflect early, and TG on that high ground as well, just holding the front line while Mike is setting up for these dives.
Oh yeah, just keep on slamming dive. And yeah, I mean, Infernal Blade, this has been crazy from you at least. Ignition Pyroclasm, look at their health economy, right? They're getting low up in these scenarios, but it's not gonna matter. They're still getting these picks.
Yeah, Ignition Pyroclasm will stabilize here. Maybe Somber and Mike find 2 picks to even out the initial picks that Ignition Pyroclasm got. And Matrix forced as well, but TG will find the picks. Somber on this high ground is unassailable and will support TG in finding that Sigma and that Baptiste. First point unlocked here for Infernal.
Yep, so Infernal Blade here doing pretty well up on their attack. I do like what they are doing with their aggro aggression, slamming in up onto the ball, but as well, like getting that focus up onto the backline is very, very impressive. So I do expect them to keep on doing this, but even with the Nano Blade coming up for Infernal Blade, that's something that I definitely expect.
Yeah, and a swap to Pharah for Ignition Pyroclasm, maybe asking the question, no hit scan? Question mark? But there is a Torb turret and an Ana that can interact with that Pharah here, so not completely uncontested as we see Bald get a slam onto that Ashe, force some damage, force some positioning onto the low ground. But that Pharah already finds a pick and a boop off onto Somber. It's game over for that Ana on the coast.
Oh boy. So a wonderful play there from Ignition, but still, if you are the Ignition Pyroclasm, you have ultimates in your economy. 3 up on the board, actually. And if you're Infernal Blade, you're still going to be trying to cook with this aggro, I'd probably say. You got 3 ultimates, but 2 ultimates, I expect. Again, Nano Blade.
Yeah, dive hit comes in from Mike on the ball. Sigma getting pressured, keeping that Ana at bay as the rest of his team goes to work on this Saloon high ground. But there is a small site for the Somber to support TG on that Genji. The Blade's still available, still cooking, but a lot of the team is low. TG goes down. The angle pressure from Ignition Pyroclasm is not allowing Infernal Blade to set up these dives.
Yeah, Ignition Pyroclasm able to find reads, and they are basically reading them like a book here if you're Ignition. But Infernal Blade, you're looking at a good scenario here. You got 5 of your ultimates coming back up into this phase of events against Ignition Pyroclasm. So you have Frankster's ultimate 2 that you head up against. You really don't gotta worry, because Promo is able to answer with a beat matrix.
Yes, the beat can come out here to cancel that flux out, but it's going to be difficult to even get into position here for Infernal Blade. Sigma controlling a lot of space, key high ground alley, but TG goes in with the blade, no nano. Rock does not connect, but Xlera, it doesn't matter, finds the headshot on TG. Blade will get no value, and they're able to get some card push, but they're going to have to maybe full reset again. It's tough. It's really tough. The Pharah is hunting from this like high ground. Aerial pressure is forcing a lot of position from the Genji. Lucio chasing that pick on the Pharah, not able to confirm it, but all of the members of Ignition Pyroclasm getting extremely low from the pressure of the ball, and this Lucio unlikely dive combo is working out here. They will find the Baptiste. Limited healing for Ignition Pyroclasm. Ooh.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm watching a top dragon basically from the side of Ignition Pyro. Oh my, that could have been a poop off the map.
Yeah, they're gonna opt to reset here. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication in the comps there. Baptiste goes down. Maybe some will call fight lost, and then we see a bunch of resets off the map. They're gonna maybe get a contest here before the second point cap, but you won that fight on the cheap. Yeah, you won that fight on the cheap.
Let's see what gets popped here, honestly.
Yeah, ball mines on the point should do enough to seal it, but they won't need it. TG Genji will find the pick on the Brig. No contest available. 2 minutes 30 on the clock for Infernal Blade. They have a pretty good shot at maybe matching the time bank.
Yeah, I do expect them to kind of equalize a statement here. They got so much ultimates up on board for their economy. But Ignition, Pyroclasm, they all have basically 5, I'd probably say. So 4v4 here up in that ult economy, stuff's gonna get hectic.
Yeah, as we see the Sigma look to push the cart, Bob thrown in as well to contest. Stop that push in its tracks. As the ball will find a dive on the backline. Baptiste goes low, but no connection. TG will go down to Xlera on the Ashe. And a beat popped as well. They want to take this fight in advance, but there's no dive partner here for Mike. Mine's trying to assail this high ground, but it's looking really rough. Ignition Pyroclasm back in the corner here, but they will not go down just yet.
Yeah, and slams here still coming out from Mr. Mountain Mike. They're trying to pressure something here while playing this ball, but the window coming out from goalies. This is a very, very interesting position, but the blade, oh my god.
The blade comes out and finds Xlera. Telemundo on that Torb will find 2 as well. Baptiste and Pharah down. Sig will go down shortly. Brig as well. That is the team fight win you need your Infernal Blade. You have that Torb ultimate to control this contest of the point here. Tracer will get forced no recall for this contest. And the Barrage finds 2.
Okay.
That is huge.
It stops everything, basically.
It's a full reset in order for Infernal Blade here. They have 45 seconds to mount a full contest. Mountain Mike going down late. It's going to be an even more rushed as we will see some swaps here for Ignition Pyroclasm, some stall swaps. Sombra and Brig looking to shut down this ball.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe a hack on the ultimate for Mike. He has it available to try and force this point through here.
Yeah, this is going to be so interesting, and it needs to be placed extremely special if you're Ignition, but the mines do come out, so they are placed.
The Fracture goes down on the Sigma. This could be the start of something here for Infernal Blade. Brig trying to be the Bastion on point for Ignition Pyroclasm, but Telemundo walks up and shoots that Brig. Mountain Mike finds Xlera, DPS down as well, and they will get a cap here in overtime. Those mines put a lot of pressure on that Sig, and the extra dive comes in, and the Sig goes down, opens up that point for them. It was very rough. Ignition Pyroclasm put a good stop to that ball comp, but they couldn't stop it all the way. We will go to overtime rounds.
Yeah, OT, here we are up in Route 66, and hey, it's the lower round 1, right? It's do or die from both of the teams. If you are Infernal Blade, you need an answer up on this map. You don't want to go down 2 maps, obviously. That would be very, very unlucky. But Infernal Blade, this is a perfect opportunity for you. You have time in your time bank. It's not like you didn't get stopped. And Infernal Blade, you have wonderful aggression with Mr. Mountain Mike up on this ball. I feel like it's providing this communication between both of the teams. But as well, Infernal Blade, they know what they're doing with this composition. It's their favorite comp. Mr. Mountain Mike, I know you, you know me. I feel like Infernal Blade's going to cook.
Yeah, they had a very strong first point attack. Very, very little resistance, let's say, from the initial dive from Ignition Pyroclasm. They weren't really able to handle that initial push, and they were able to start to find some answers in these fights as they went through the second point. But that first point was very rough for Pyroclasm. Let's see if they can find any changes to their initial setup, and it looks like Reaper might be that change.
Yeah, so Reaper does come out here from Ignition Pyroclasm, but Infernal Blade, once again, up on this attack. I do expect this to be aggro playstyle from Infernal Blade, but you got to be careful if you are these supports up top, because all it takes is Mr. Mountain Mike to just drop down up on you.
Yeah, the Brig as well, looking to try and control Mountain Mike's access to the high ground, but is not able to find too many ability connections, and Somber will kill Xlera on the Reaper, opening pick for Infernal Blade. They can maybe take this a little bit long, but I think they will opt to take it fast. Lucio Speed in with the ball dive, forces all of the CDs. Brig
this is deadly.
Bap down, Cassidy down, no, Cassidy down. They will find one trade on that Genji, but look at that Torp turret. It's controlling all the lanes, all the angles.
I love that little thing.
A contest, they're not going to contest here, Ignition Pyroclasm. Oh, Tracer recalls out. Tracer's the only one contesting here.
Oh.
It looked like they were backing up, but they might be able to get it. Somber with that nade will find one Fragster, a trade in return, but it's not going to be enough with that lamp going down, and that turret angle is devious. That turret angle is so devious. Helps Mike in the cleanup of this fight, and they will get first point cap. Again, just like they did in their initial attack.
So here we go. If you are Infernal Blade, this has been good looks for you up in your overtime attack push. But here we go. Mr. Mountain Mike, you're close to these mines. You also have this nano coming up, even a blade, even a molten core. Stuff can happen out of the wazoo for this Infernal Blade side. But Ignition Pyroclasm, you have stuff coming back. I do expect this team to hold this very, very defensively. If they don't, it's going to be a bomb basically getting dropped up onto them.
Yeah, we'll see as Xlera on this Tracer now looking to pressure out the support, and the Flux from Fragster will find Somber on the Ana, but he will get a nano off as well, and Telemundo and Mike are doing work with the counter push, finding 3, and this will be another fight win here for Infernal Blade. They're gonna look to maybe mount a full cap here. It's possible. They're getting this full cycle rolling.
Yeah, I mean, Telly has been cooking up in this OT, especially up on the Torb. The Torb placements have been immaculate for this Infernal Blade squad. It is do or die here, still up in overtime. They want to get a capitalize, and as we get to see more in favor.
Ultimates coming out from both sides. High Noon and Amplification Matrix with a Blade and a Torbjorn ultimate will amount to a fight win for Infernal Blade. Again, they will get access to this third point. You had to use both your DPS ultimates. You only have a beat, but Ignition Pyroclasm only has that rally, so you're quite even in the ultimate economy.
Yes. And it's going to be exciting to see what Infernal Blade can do here. The Torb turret placements have been crazy from Telemundo. This player has been at its finest. Ignition Pyroclasm, they have this rally ready to go. I do expect this to be popped for that aggro playstyle.
Yeah, as we see them walk up with the rally here, looking for a stun, but Brig gets low. A lot of pressure. Later beat will find more value over that rally, and both supports are gone for Ignition Pyroclasm. Fragster finds a trade on Telemundo, which could be important here as the distance to spawns become longer for Infernal Blade, but they will get even more card push into this third point and threaten a full cap.
So here we go. This is going to be full cap territory. If Infernal Blade pushes this all the way, will they get 6/3, or will Ignition take them down here. It's all for themselves to capitalize up on something here, and the mines are out, but Fragster still has their ult.
Yes, Fragster has the ultimate to respawn after these mines, but TG finds a Void unit. Brig is not available, but the Flux will find Torbjorn. It's a trade. We're even on the field now, 4v4, and the picks will come out for Ignition Pyroclasm. This will be the end of the push, right at the end of third. Not enough in the tank for the ultimates of Infernal Blade to kind of push it across the line, but you're incredibly happy with this push if you're Infernal.
Yeah, highly impressive from the side of Infernal Blade. They came up into that attacking phase with only a minute box, and I gotta say, Ignition Pyroclasm, you only have 2 minutes 11. I do expect this team to push this maybe somewhere around that same amount on what Infernal Blade did. And looking at how the attack and defensive phases were between these two teams before we had overtime, Ignition Pyroclasm were kind of set up on their attack, and Infernal Blade, they were caught up in positions that they didn't want to be. So I do expect Infernal Blade to fix those mistakes here and hopefully have a better, remembrance of what they could do not wrong.
Yeah, I also would like to see maybe a little bit more aggressive the ball play. Maybe trying to find some hits onto the back line a little bit quicker. Just make it more difficult for Ignition Pyroclasm to move around the map. And the longer that you're able to kind of draw out their rotations, the more chances that TG will find a dash execution combo, or Telemundo will find a headshot with that Torbjorn, or Somber finds a really good nade. So it could be a story of fast, repeated dives here for Infernal Blade that could maybe solve the problem for them.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, Telemundo still playing this Torb, and the turret is there. But if you're Fragster, you could just go up in and have that defense matrix and really not worry about that. Yeah, that's absolutely
at that angle.
Insane.
So much pressure on the Lucio. Forced Ignition Pyroclasm to the back of the map, ensuring that Somber stays safe on this Ana. It's difficult for them to be able to dive it, but they will look with that Juno ring. D.Va gets extremely low and demeched right into that Torb. Ana will get traded, but the baby D.Va Telemundo's turret doing work again, finding two. TG with the dash resets finds Xlera as well, as Mountain Mike was pressured all the way down but doesn't die.
Look at that turret MVP, man. I mean, Telemundo's turret placement has just been absolutely crazy. Like, the turret is the man of the match. But yeah, Infernal Blade cooking it up on that defensive style. But Ignition Pyroclasm, still a chance here for them.
Yeah, the ball looks to find a hit onto the Juno as the rest of Ignition Pyroclasm rotates around onto the backline. They find Telemundo, but the turret is also still alive, maybe? I don't think so. A Void unit and AJ find some more picks here, and it's 30 seconds on the clock as Mike finds a trade. Lucio's still alive, and that turret angle, it's demanding respect. It is demanding respect. It is controlling the positions of these DPS. They will kill TG finally, but Mike is still here for a contest here. And they will get a very long contest and will probably get a full 5-man reset.
Yeah, and this lower bracket scenes of events have just been happening here. But a wonderful pick from a Void, but a blade from AJ12.
A Void unit going crazy finds Telemundo and Somber. AJ with the blade on top finds TG. That will be the point cap here. It looked like Infernal Blade could have gotten a strong contest end to that last point, but in the end, Ignition Pyroclasm pushes the tempo a little bit, rush the backline, finds some picks, and the Infernal Blade key ultimate, they did not use those ball mines, and they have that with a nano and a beat for this next fight. And if they lose any fight now, it's game over. It's map for Infernal Blade.
Oh my gosh, another Torb placement, though, getting red from AJ12. And mines are out, but I do expect Infernal Blade to get even more aggressive here with that Nano Blade.
Yeah, Mike trying to control the objective, split the front line dive of the D.Va and the Genji from the back line as the Juno Ray will come in, but will die instantly. TG with the headshots finds the pick. The D.Va gets demeched as well, forced to use the bomb, and that turret placement again. The turret demands respect, guys. The turret demands respect. If you are not shooting that turret, it will do damage to you. Those turret POVs is maybe you think it's a little bit corny, but it's actually showing you how much space those turrets in those weird positions will give you, because you either A, have to route around it, and when you can put it in those weird positions, there's not a lot of space where you can route around it, or B, you have to look up to look at it, which means you're not looking up at the enemy team that is shooting back at you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you know, weird placements even with a healing pylon too. That's always interesting. But yeah, turret placements have been cooking up for the side of Infernal Blade here off of that last map, which was map 2. And hey, you know, we have map 3 next up, but something to talk about is what that placements were to do for Infernal Blade. It really gave them that benefit of the doubt to declare their victory on that map set. So hey, if Ignition Pyroclasm wants to ban that torp, they could do it. If they want to take out the Genji, they could do it. Or if they want to pressure that backline, they could do it. But I do believe we do have a little bit of a short break.
Yes, we will head to a break as Ignition Pyroclasm decides what map they would like to take as for map 3 and what ban they would like to start out with. We will see you in, I think it'll be a maybe less than 5-minute break. So grab your popcorn. This will be a map 5. I'm calling it right now. We will see a map 5. So make sure you get your snacks. We will be back. Welcome back, everyone. We are SPCS lower bracket round one, Infernal Blade versus Ignition Pyroclasm, and we've had a very spicy series so far. First map, Ignition Pyroclasm running out with the Ramatra comp, strong 2-0, some resistance from Infernal Blade with the Zarya comp, but ultimately Ignition Pyroclasm pick up the map win, and Infernal Blade take us to Route 66 and show a pretty commanding ball comp in those overtime rounds, but it was extremely close.
Yeah, extremely close as it was. A 5-4 score line off of that one. And I loved what they did up in their, overtime scenario. They pushed that pretty far, even with that 1 minute. Their attacking was definitely a lot better than it was. But yeah, I'm very, very impressed on what Infernal Blade has been cooking. Maybe they can burn with the fire even more here up into this next one and take Ignition Pyroclasm down a notch with maybe a map win.
Yeah, and we were talking a bit in the break about maybe what the thought process, what the order of operations might be for Ignition going forward with potential map picks. What map type do you go to? Maybe you go to Flashpoint here. Maybe you go to Push. But they will ultimately. Are we ready to reveal it? Drum roll. They go to Hybrid and they pick King's Row. Very logical.
Yeah, I mean, King's Row, this is a great one for Brawl and Poke. Even a lot of, some weird compositions can be played here, but I do expect Widowmaker getting played. We got to see that from one of the players here from one of the rosters. But King's Row, this is a great field of deficit view for a bunch of variety. So this is definitely going to be exciting, but can they cook here? It's going to be something that we're going to be able to see.
Yeah, it's the elusive. Everyone's heard rumors of it. I have seen it once in all of the scrims I've done. The elusive ball A defense on King's Row. Maybe we will see it here. If there was ever a team that would do it in a match, it would be Infernal Blade, and it would be now, as we get the bans coming in shortly. I think this map definitely does favor Ignition, though, with the brawl style as kind of the classic for this map, isn't it?
Yeah, having Ignition, Pyroclasm come out with their brawl type kind of style, I do expect them to take this. But if Inferno Blade were to take this, MrBox, this is going to be basically a very, very good map win for them, right? Because now, if you do win this one, you got Flashpoint to favor your ball type composition, but as well, you also have that other. So it's going to be a good favor if Infernal Blade were to win this, but Pyroclasm, they need to win this more.
Yeah, they need to kind of keep this tennis theory trading maps back and forth, and we see the full bans in. Ignition banned first, banning Winston, maybe protect banning a tank there, and Infernal respond with a ban on Juno, as we will have a little bit of a standby as the teams prepare to go into the map. So we can keep yapping a bit here. I think it's curious that the Juno ban and respawn. Maybe there's some sort of intel on what type of brawl comps. They could have banned Kiriko, right? I think Ignition banned Kiriko earlier, so Infernal could have still banned Kiriko. The Kiri Lucio Ramatra comp on Li Zhang was kind of what to go by. That's the backline they would run here.
Yeah, and I like the pick of Juno taken out for that ban. You obviously don't need to worry about orbital rays or the speed rings going up in, but this is a little bit of a throwaway ban, probably from Ignition Pyroclasm. I don't see a lot of dive getting played here up on a hybrid map, which is King's Row. I do especially get to see a lot of favorable brawl type compositions. Same with Poke, but I gotta say, man, why pick the Winston here up on a brawl comp map?
I don't know. It's a little bit curious. The first point has a lot more high grounds that can kind of make sense, but as you progress through the map, it becomes a lot more linear, a lot more corner to corner play. It's a lot less dive favored. So you see kind of the stats here. Is I'm always terrible at reading these. Kings Row 1 map win for Infernal Blade, and the rest is Hollywood.
Oh boy.
I don't. Maybe the map stats will show. Maybe the map stats show that Kings Row wasn't the correct play here. Hmm.
Uh-oh, another pause happening.
We love
But
the tech pauses, guys. Love it. Absolutely amazing.
yeah, hey, it's NA scuffed. It's North America. It's not Europe. It's North America. But Infernal Blade still trying to have their hopes up into this one. They want to get a win, which that will favor them heading up into any other map up in this set series. But Ignition Pyroclasm, if you want to run away with the series, you gotta win this map. For the one that actually takes the series, I believe we talked about this during break. The one that takes this basically is kind of the set winner.
Yeah, it's a little bit foregone. I think the rest of the maps can be quite strong for ball in some cases. But if you look at, like, say, which for example, Esperanza's there, pretty strong for ball, but is also known for some brawl comp, especially Juno comps as well nowadays. So it can be a little bit mixed, but it's definitely whoever gets this map win has a pretty strong commanding to take it to their map that they want later in the end. They have options on whichever map type. Push or flashpoint. Definitely flashpoints favoring Ignition Pyroclasm if they get the win. If they get the win on this map, next map would be Infernal. They pick whichever one, and then that last map 5, Ignition Pyroclasm will have an advantage of being able to pick whichever map is best for them. Which, if we go in that direction, is probably going to be Flash.
Fortnite Battle Royale up in the match chat.
Yes, Fortnite, guys, a game I played once. Love it. See,
It's hard
Florida,
for me to get away.
yeah, Florida is back in here for Infernal Blade, so no elusive ball A-point defense. We will see Ana Lucio for the defending team first, and some changes can still be made for Ignition Pyroclasm, but they're locking in that Ramatra comp again.
Yeah, and Ignition, Pyroclasm, it's a little worrying about your ban here, but you're going to be able to bring out a brawl-type composition heading up into Florida's Zarya. So, Infernal Blade, let's see what you cook up against Ignition Pyroclasm. Will they use their Flint and Steel against Ignition? Who's to say? What's going to happen?
Yes, Flint and Steel, guys, Minecraft movie. See it soon. Turret is down already from the early rotation through Hotel for Ignition Pyroclasm, but a lot of pressure onto Ramatra. Form, Force, and Ravens on that May, new DPS player we haven't seen in the match yet. Will get picked early, but Fragster finds a response on Florida, so there is an opening here where Ignition Pyroclasm can take a fight without the tank of Infernal Blade being available.
Yeah, so Ignition Pyroclasm just taking this one as it is. Very, very slowly, I'd probably say. Infernal Blade taking that top. But they're trying to read for an opening opportunity, but an anti-up on the 2? Maybe they could find an answer.
Yeah, Somber taking a lot of damage, but finding value with that anti-nade. Both bubbles forced for Florida. Not a lot of support for that Zarya. Able to do quite a bit of damage, but not enough sustain to mount a contest on this point. Ignition Pyroclasm with a clean first point take.
Yep, so Ignition Pyroclasm, AJ12, very, very close to their ultimate, which that could be devastational for the side of Infernal Blade. It just depends upon how that is placed. But I like what they're doing. They're going to be forwarding this. While their team is up here, they're trying to look for a slow.
Yeah, this Ramatra, I think, is way more flexible than the Zarya here. Allows a lot more creativity, maybe, with how Ignition could take these fights. Infernal Blade is a lot more linear. You kind of have to play off those bubbles, get charged. As we'll see, a kind of slow fight develop. Infernal Blade opting to take it on the first corner, but the Kiriko rush canceled by the Maywall. We've seen this happen before on stream in intermediate tier. Maywall canceling out an ultimate. It happens here in Rookie as well, as Florida will find that May pick and give them an opening. High Noon forces them back, but all of the pressure is still on Infernal Blade. Zarya down from AJ on that cast. Strong shots. Telemundo finds a response, but with no tank, they will be forced back up to the end point.
Yeah, so Telemundo still playing with this Torb. They can place that turret anywhere they want, but look at the deflex just coming out from Infernal Blade. They're really just trying to read AJ12.
Ooh. Raven's not having a fun time. Telemundo with the poke on that Torbjorn finds another first pick, and Ignition Pyroclasm being wise here, opting to just soft reset. You have 3 minutes 40 on the clock. You have a lot of time here. You can build up some ultimates. You have the time to waste a bit, as TG is scouting, maybe looking for some sort of early play here. This is an interesting rotation. Haven't seen this one in a long time.
Going all the way. Maybe this is going to be a Ramatra Annihilation, a speed in of the Ramatra Annihil. That could happen, but they got to be aware of Infernal Blade with that blade.
Yeah, they scouted it out, they saw them, they backed up from their initial hold position, and still contesting the corner as Ramatra holds his high ground and drops down. The Zarya grab, isolating, beat in response to the grab, and Promo has a chance here for a later beat, opting not to press it just yet as he's in that slow, looking for a safe opportunity, and TG in with the blade will not be able to find a pick. Shut down by that flashbang grenade from AJ12, and AJ12 finding another pick on Telemundo. There was a chance there. They're using double support ult on the Zarya with both DPS down. It's ballsy, but it's coming out, and they force 2 ultimates. No, just 1. They force 2 now. High Noon and Ramatra ult out. Ramatra ult finds 2.
Oh my.
Wow. There's a lot of, the nerves must be very high here. Very high.
Yeah. And now, you know, you'd probably be a bit worrying if you are part of the fan base of Infernal Blade. But another pause has what could be a disconnection, maybe, happening. But yeah, a lot of stuff happened there. So much ultimates up on the side of Infernal Blade, but as well, Ignition Pyroclasm capitalizing up on those mistakes of what Infernal Blade used.
Yeah, there must be some miscommunication. Nerves are high. You know, nobody's really keeping track of the kill feed as much. 2 players go down early for Infernal Blade, and then maybe there was a call, oh, there's a lot of damage down, it's winnable. Both supportals get popped at the same time, and the later Ramatra ults, the later High Noon, it doesn't look good for Infernal Blade.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what they're going to do. It is a pause here as we are waiting. I do expect what Infernal Blade can come back with. Maybe they can try and do a different bit of a composition. I know it's going to be hard building back up on the perks, but is the composition that you're running against into what Ignition is running, is it favorable?
Yeah, I don't think it is favorable. To be honest, we saw on map 1 kind of how it played out, Ramatra versus Zarya. And it didn't go too well. They had some opportunities, they had some fights where they did really good, but I think the Ramatra comp had a more steady value curve, a lot more consistent value than the Zarya comp. So maybe you're right. Maybe some swaps are in order. Maybe Ramatra comp match it. Just typical here, you're losing, just match the comp. You know?
Yeah.
Could be the play, because we will have it's officially a pause for Infernal Blade. I think I hope it doesn't come to this, but the pauses might matter at some point because there's a limited amount per team.
Uh-oh.
We're back in here. We are back in. Somber's back. Okay. We are full 5s, Infernal Blade resetting here, and the Kitsune Rush for Ignition Pyroclasm could be a very strong tool.
Yeah, and I'm very much excited to see it, and we will be seeing it.
Popped early. Telemundo pops that Torb ultimate, looking to kind of cancel off that space, and the trades go both ways. Telemundo turret, as always, will find the final response in that series of trades, closing out the team fight. Curious little fast fight. I think always after these pauses, both teams wanting to just click the go button, reset to the next fight. So
Yeah.
maybe that's, as we see Somber in chat responding to the inevitable questions. PC crashed, guys. You know the
Plug.
deal. As AJ, he was typing and he took advantage, found the pick on Somber. As Fragster on the Ramachu will rush down Telemundo. AJ gets the final blow. As the
Mundo
boop
fell off the map.
It's savable. It's savable. No tank for Ignition Pyroclasm, but that boop kill will allow Infernal Blade to stabilize somewhat here at the end of this third point. Point will push through towards the end, and an eat from Florida.
Eat?
That experience showing Diva play from Florida, finding a lot of value right now. As you called it, tank switch up might be in order. Swap to Diva and Sting start going Infernal Blade's way.
I'm liking what I'm seeing here from Infernal Blade. They found something that can fix those mistakes. And hey, Somber has that nano. I do expect this to get placed maybe up on the tank here or the DPS line. It could be huge if Florida was just able to get more aggro play in for this Infernal Blade side. But Ignition Pyroclasm, they really only have 2 ultimates to use. Fragster with their Annihil, that could be a tad bit deadly, but oh my gosh.
Big play from Somber, finding the Sojourn on that off angle. Sleep nade dead. Execution for Somber is going to slow Ignition Pyroclasm down even further. They entered this third point with, what was it, 3 minutes roundabout?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Down to 1 minute and 20 seconds. It's dangerous place here, and they still have that nano. The anti will force the beat. Somber in this really good position, uncontested. Soj will finally contest. Can they get the nano off Somber? No nano available. TG pops the blade regardless. Will find 1 on the tank, which should slow Ignition Pyroclasm down again here. As Florida on that Diva finds another trade, and the fight will close here. Bomb thrown in. Oh, bomb for reset. DMX somewhere in that overtime fight. And then because you didn't have the opportunity to use that nano, you have it now for this last fight.
Yes, and Nano is going to be able to get used here from Infernal Blade. I do expect this to get put up onto the Diva. Florida wants to have as much ult charge as possible here heading up into that last fight. Maybe if they are able to charge up this ultimate, they could have a bomb chance here.
Yeah, as another huge anti-nade onto Fragster will force both the Suzu and the Blizzard as the push comes through from Infernal Blade. They find the Kiriko, Genji, and another boop off the map. Promo with some heroics again, as Infernal Blade stabilized at the end of this third point. Strong plays from the support, strong play from Florida, and they will defend the third point cap after what looked like it was going to be a steamroll for Ignition Pyroclasm.
All right, SPCS, give Promo a promotion. Please and thank you. Infernal Blade, cooking as what that Lucia player has been doing, hitting people off the map, booping them off the map, saying, hey, this is my defensive territory. Nobody's taking it. Nobody's pushing it all the way. And Ignition Pyroclasm, you only have 2 up on the board, 59.39 meters. If you're Infernal Blade here, MrBox, I gotta say, you got your chance to take this map and have more favorable maps ahead of you.
Yeah, as we said for the map, the winner of this map puts himself in a very, very strong commanding position in this series here. It's not first to 4 just yet. That will be in 2 weeks, I believe, for the rookie tier. So it's still first to 3. So winner of this map, strong commanding position, as we will see the Ramatra comp still locked in, and it looked good for Ignition Pyroclasm on that attack, right? The pause comes in, things start to change. Now you've got an opportunity to kind of recenter yourself again, and just think, forget about the pause. You know, it's annoying. Everyone hates it. It happens sometimes. Just reset, refocus. Think about how you want to make this this defense work, because if you're able to hold this, everything's fine. Whatever happened on your attack doesn't really matter. Third point's always difficult to push anyway. So strong mentals required here for Ignition Pyroclasm as they look to start off this defense.
Yeah, so if you're Fragster, you're gonna maybe try and look for a slow here. Maybe work with that shield as much as possible. But if you're Infernal Blade, you do expect a dive here to force out Suzus or TPs.
Yeah, and there's an initial look up for Ramatra here. Slow finds that Lucio and the Diva, but not able to really find an angle to push. As it's just a very slow kind of poke out here, as we did see a little shot of, I believe that was AJ on the high ground. The rest of Infernal Blade will rotate to this high ground. TG finds the trade on AJ in that backline duel, and Promo will find the Kiriko as well. The rotate from the Ramatra was out of view of the Kiriko. Kiriko got forced, and the Mei and Ramatra and Lucio find some trades in this fight here. Ravens coming online on this defense, finds 2 in that fight, but ultimately TG will find the cleanup kills. First point for Infernal Blade, unless there is a contest here.
Is that the Lucio 1v1 that I was saying? I don't know. It was something like that, but Fragster's cooking at the moment. This has been immaculate from Ignition.
Yeah, extended fight from that high ground leads into a contest with Fragster on the Ramatra, finds 2 picks. Infernal Blade get 2 ticks though, more importantly. 2 minutes 30, 2 minutes 20 on the clock, and they're coming up on this nano fight here.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what they're going to use the nano up on. Maybe they could put this up onto the Genji, but maybe they could just wait for those ultimates that might just be popped from Ignition.
Now look at Somber here dancing around the angle from that Sojourn. Nano onto Diva. Blizzard not eaten this time. Florida going through onto the background, trying to find some pressure. Not a lot of damage coming out, but Ravens gets really low. TG finds the securing pick. It's 4v5 now in favor of Infernal Blade, and TG with that blade will pop it as AJ finds 1, beat in response as well. Shut down that blade from Ignition Pyroclasm. That's now a second teamfight win on this defense, and now it's getting rocky. 1 minute 30, 1 point cap, and you used your big ultimate kind of rotation with that net blade.
So yeah, as you said, with the, nano coming out from Infernal Blade, not finding much. Now, if you are Florida, though, you have to find an answer. Will they be able to consider some for themselves here? The slow getting nothing.
Quick rotate around, Kiriko ult dropped, and Telemundo goes down. AJ finding 1, Fragster finding 1 with his ultimate as well, but that turret, as we said, needs to be respected. Puts him down low, but not enough. They will rush forwards toward the spawn here, trying to catch out the Ana. Nade, forced early sleep, connects as well. This overextension could net some value here for Infernal Blade. They will get the Mei as well. It's a 4v5 again, but they lost the last one. Beat used. Does not connect onto the Genji. Will survive with the health pack in support of the Ana. Nano available as Promo will find a boop, forcing Ignition Pyroclasm off the point and securing the cap. It was rough there if you're Infernal Blade.
Yeah, very, very hectic. So much happening up in the teamfight scenarios, but as we get to see, Telemundo was trying to look for a turret placement there, turret placement, but not able to find much. It's up on the ground. Infernal Blade, though, they still have an ultimate of a Nano. Florida's trying to build up that Diva Bomb. I see that Diva Bomb hitting some big benefits here up in those close quarters. If you can catch somebody off guard with it, you could be up in the runnings.
Ooh, Ravens finds a icicle onto Somber, and the wall comes up as well. Ravens having a rough time kind of in that attack first couple of stages, but they've locked in. Finding really good value now on this Mei, putting up walls, isolating the front and back line, and these icicles doing a lot of damage here as Infernal Blade will set up this next fight.
Yeah, so Ignition, Pyroclasm, just trying to place this Blizzard of their ults, but the Void unit, they still have their, coming up on Beat Matrix, same as Kitsune Rush, so it's the kind of set.
Nano onto Genji will secure 2 picks, 3 picks, almost 4. Florida steals 1. Genji also Florida's. It's 3 and 2 for the Genji and the Diva, as they will break through that front choke and get an opportunity with a Blade and a Diva Bomb in the next fight.
So here we go. Let's see what that Diva Bomb could do. It has to be some great placement. Maybe we'll be able to call it a Poco, but Yeah, Ignition, Pyroclasm, they do have a Void Unit's ultimate coming up. Same with this Kitsune Rush. I do expect these supports to be aware.
Blizzard dropped early. Telemundo turret doing the work again. Ravens down. D.Va looking in to kind of peel for that Ramattra, pushing the backline as a Kiriko rush. Ramattra and Beat is used for Ignition Pyroclasm. Only the bomb for remake from Infernal Blade. You won that on the cheap in the ult eco. Push finds a voided unit. TG goes down, but Florida secures the Kiriko. Telemundo gets the Ramattra. That's exactly what you wanted if you're Infernal Blade. No contest really possible unless the Soj might slide in for a last minute touch. Yes. Yeah. The Soj slides in, naded instantly. Torbjorn ultimate on the point, trying to find a lot of value. Soj goes down, but Torb goes down to the perk from the Mei block. It's even here, just about. Genji Blade looking to secure it, finds the Mei. Can TG find more value? Lucio gets naded and the cap comes through as the Genji Blade forced Ignition Pyroclasm off the point.
Yeah, same with that Molten Core too of Telemundo. That was great placement from the side of Infernal Blade. But hey, if you are the Blades here, they have 2 ultimates. And it's going to be up on the Florida here if you are using that Nano.
Yeah, pushing through onto the backline with the Genji, finds the Kiriko after that Nano goes down. TG finds the securing pick on the Sojourn as well. But push from Ramattra finds Promo. That's a trade pick that might be useful, but it's only a Lucio. Lucio will be back fast, and they're pushing this point towards the checkpoint rapidly. Ignition Pyroclasm did not full cap, and they will not get a touch. D.Va boosters, I think, got a boop onto AJ, securing that slide. Will not touch the point. Infernal Blade steal away a map pick of Ignition Pyroclasm.
So I will say, if you are Infernal Blade, you are set, basically, with this match point scenario. You have Flashpoint and Push that you can go to run that Wrecking Ball type compositional style against Ignition Pyroclasm. So yeah, I mean, MrBox, they are set here if you are Infernal Blade. If you're Ignition Pyroclasm, though, you're going to have to worry, because now Infernal Blade can ban your special heroes.
Yes, we haven't seen too much of it just yet from Infernal Blade with their bans, but it could be target ban Ramattra time for Infernal Blade on whatever map they end up picking, as we did see in the chat if you guys caught it. Somber actually DC'd right at the end of that map. So perfect timing to close it out for Infernal Blade, making sure no more shenanigans could inflict the damage on that steal they got. It's you can't really highlight enough how important these map steals are when you get the win on your opponent's map pick.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to be exciting to see what Infernal Blade can still cook up here against Ignition Pyro. Both of the teams representing fire up in this one. But yeah, Ignition, maybe you can ignite something. Pyroclasm gotta set their foot back up into this scenario where they can come back, climb back into a 2-2 phase to basically set themselves into that map 5 scenario. But hey, we're heading to map 4, and if you're Infernal Blade, you're set up on match point. All you gotta do is win one more, and then you don't gotta worry about getting eliminated.
Yeah, it's crunch time for Ignition Pyroclasm. You got to get this map win, and you got to win 2 in a row here. As we got some interesting stats going on. Knock on wood, providing some stats. 3 boop kills on Lijiang, 2 on Route 66, and 2 on King's Row, making 7 for this series. That's got to be the most out of any series this season, both on stream and off stream. Surely, maybe someone will correct in chat. Well, actually, our game that was off stream had 10. We're not done yet. We still have more maps to go, as we've got some notice here, some more tech issues coming through. We will head to a break, maybe. It's a very complex situation. I'm going to summarize it with ringers are trying to be found ASAP.
Oh, so now I wonder, you know, if you're Infernal Blade, I think you're still set, right? you're still up here. You were getting a tad bit worried, though, if you were Inferno Blade. I believe it was up on the... After the DC, they kind of weren't finding their answer until they switched to that Diva, and finding that fixture of those events fixed up everything for themselves, and having that basically sets themselves for a great advanced spot. So Inferno Blade, you're set up pretty good. Ignition Pyroclasm, as we've been saying, they got to find some answer. Maybe they could do it here very, very shortly. They have the map pick, they have the bans to do it, but still, you got to worry about what Inferno Blade could ban against your side.
Yeah, it was a swap of tank that opened up that King's Row swap on Diva, immediately highlighted by a eat on that May Blizzard. Maybe something similar is in order for Ignition Pyroclasm here. You need to be constantly adapting to what your enemy team is throwing at you. The Diva swap worked wonders. Maybe we could see a swap of tank as well, but we will go to break as both teams sort out what will happen with this DC. I believe Infernal Blade does not have another support on the roster, so they will need to figure something out with Somber DCing at the end of that map. Yeah, we will head to a break. Time ETA indeterminate at the All right, guys, welcome back from this technical pause. Very interesting situation. I will customarily not elaborate on it just yet because we have some important updates from the other matches going around the rookie tier today. Sirens 3-0 versus Ragnarok Hella. Welcome if you're coming from that game. 3-0 Mass Effect versus Greedy Out Girls. Welcome if you're coming from that game. Beast Nuts versus Nemesis. No score reports in just yet, but if they play today, that match could likely be over as well. So we will
Yeah.
see Sirens and Mass Effect in the upper final. But update on the situation here. Finally, there is a support ringer on lock for Infernal Blade,
You're
and
putting me in,
they
guys.
they are getting approvals from mods as we speak, I believe, but they are in lobby is the word we are getting. So yes, and the map also was picked from Ignition Pyroclasm. We are being told it is Survasa. So they pushed that we will go to Flashpoint button.
Okay, so the button was pushed for that Saravasa map pick, and hey, talking about this map, we got ball type variety compositions that can be played here. A lot of rush style comps, brawl as well. If you wanted to brawl your way through it, you can. There's so much that teams could run, but hey, I expect both of the teams to run their strengths here, and the bans need to be huge from at least one side. Ignition, you need to have something that's going to take out some momentum on the side of Infernal Blade, but as well, Infernal Blade needs to take out something huge for them to set themselves a big win here in that lower bracket.
Yeah, we do have the first ban from Ignition Pyroclasm, setting the tone of what we will see in this Suravasa, banning Torb. That Torb was a thorn in the side for the last two maps, as we saw some of those adaptations come through, holding big value for Infernal Blade. And Infernal will ban Ramatra in return, as we said before we went into this break. That was a very, very strong play for Infernal Blade on these last two map types, as they will opt to push that right now, striving to get this 3-1 victory here.
Yeah, and this is exciting. You take out the Ramatra, but as well, Ignition Pyroclasm, they're taking out something that was extremely strong from even the last couple maps. We know what Telemundo can do up on that Torb. And hey, you don't got to worry about Torb turret placements anymore. No molten cores, no hammers, no nothing from a Torb player. So Torb's out of the scene. Ramatra's out of the scene. I do expect the ball to be ran here from Inferno Blade, but for Ignition, do you expect maybe a Malga to come out, maybe something to get even more aggressive into those frontline scenarios?
Yeah, I think we might see that. I think they found their success in the first map, kind of going first versus a comp that took quite a bit of time to charge up with that Zarya. So you have to wait for the Zarya to get the high charge, then the damage is there. But if you kind of play it slow, don't feed too much charge, you can waste a lot of resources and then push fast when there is none. So maybe with the ball likely being played here, just going fast with the brawl could be the play. Malga is kind of the staple of that style right now, as we see the map records on Suravasa. Ignition Pyroclasm taking the edge with one more map win.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be something to watch out for. Maybe this is going to bite them, but here we go. Pigeons on the rooftop here from the side and sight of Saravasa. This is going to be exciting. And Inferno Blade looking to finalize up on that scoreline. They want to take 3/1 here to just equal one. I gotta say, that was actually something that they did quote up on the little note sheet that we cooked up before cast.
Yes, Mike did predict a 3-1. So maybe he is the predictor of everything today. As Infernal Blade will go back to the Zarya comp, and Ignition will play the Sigma, but with Lucio Curie this time. So a little bit little bit more ability to move around with that Sigma. Juno Lucio for Infernal Blade, double speed boost.
Yeah, so I was wrong. No Wrecking Ball from the side of Infernal Blade, but hey, somebody's going to be cooking, and it might just be the Rock from Fragster. Ignition, Pyroclasm. I like this composition. Will it be favorable, though, against Infernal Blade?
Yeah, will it be favorable? Fragster finding pick off the chip damage from those Sigma Hyperspheres and an accretion as well. Early fight win for Ignition Pyroclasm off of a slow push. They kited out the initial push from the Zarya. We will see Florida swap immediately to the D.Va, as that was kind of the response they had in King's Row. We'll see if it works against the Sigma.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out. A shout out to Wheezy up in the chat for saying put Nyah in. I mean, hey, I am a Lucio player, but we do get to see two Lucios here fighting pretty dominantly. Infernal Blade, they are doing well, I'd probably say. Florida, though, needs to be careful up on these other angles, but you get to see Xlara playing this Tracer. It's been pretty great, and I would be a little worried if that Tracer keeps on pressuring those supports.
Yeah, Xlara working the off angle right now, pressure on to the Cassidy and the Juno, but Florida gets demeched with that pressure. Juno not being able to heal up that D.Va. They will get a flip on the cap, but it will go back towards Ignition Pyroclasm shortly, as they do get the flip, and it's last fight territory already on this first point, and you haven't really worked up to any ultimates. Only the Kiriko Rush on the table, Tracer Pulse Bomb as well. Wow. Xlara on the Tracer doing the work right now.
Yep, absolutely cooking. Xlara, we know what you can do up on this Tracer. We got to see pulses from other maps in this series, and they have been immaculate by far. But hey, maybe this is another map that they could find more answers with that Pulse Bomb trajectory. But AJ12, they're coming up to their ultimate. Same with Fragster and Void. You're basically looking at Ignition Pyroclasm, basically sent with their ultimate economy, but Infernal Blade, not so much. They don't have an ultimate just yet.
Yeah, I think they might look to try and kite out something here, as we see Xlara on the flank, trying to look for an angle with that Pulse Bomb, does not find it, but AJ12 finds the opening. Telemundo down on that Cassidy, and Xlara finds promo as well. 2-man up for Ignition Pyroclasm as the second point begins to unlock, and it will be a first capture on this Gardens point, question mark? I don't know the name.
Yeah, I'm going to call it Gardens. I'm going to agree with you here. Ignition Pyroclasm sitting with 3 ultimates up on their ultimate economy board. Infernal Blade, though, they will be coming back, right, with this Orbital Ray. You're also going to have Beat Matrix. Telemundo will also have this Cassidy High Noon, but as well, you're going to have this Blade. So you got stuff to set up for yourselves. I do expect, if you are the Juno from Infernal Blade, to speed ring in one of those ultimates.
Yes, as we see the speed ring onto the Genji Blade, it's done some work before, but it's also been shut down before. AJ12 with the overclock finds the pick onto TG, finds the pick onto the DMEC Florida. As another fight win here, it's Ignition Pyroclasm cruising to a map win right now. It will be a second point capture after a stagger on this Juno. Unfortunate stagger. No regroup contest will be available for Infernal Blade.
Yeah, and I'm feeling a bit tad of worriness from Infernal Blade. They're not going to be able to get back to this one, but you get to see Ignition Pyroclasm sitting at a great 2-0 over Infernal Blade here up in the Saravasa. Telemundo, though, they have their Cassidy High Noon. Promo can speed that around during this objective here. So I'm really wondering how they're going to place this. Are they going to go around the corner or even just go straight up into the main phase?
Yeah, the wheel turns for Florida once again, swapping onto that Winston, adapting to the comp in front of them. They're looking to push this coast side. No support else yet, but that High Noon is available, and that High Noon is popped. Lucio Speed looking to route this around, but the Kiriko Suzu and the Lucio Speed for Ignition Pyroclasm saves it, as the Tracer will find Iggledy Boop on that Kiriko. It's trades coming out, but they're in favor of Ignition Pyroclasm again here.
Yep, Ignition is igniting for the side of Pyro, and Inferno Blade, you are falling short once again. I feel like they got a swap off of this Winston pick from Florida. I really don't see it working against Fragster, especially when Fragster can just rock you when you're trying to dive engage, right? So not too good from Inferno Blade here. I really want to see some changes.
Yeah, there's not a lot of attempts left that they have on this Suravasa. 50%, 40% and climbing here for Ignition Pyroclasm on this final point, and they do have a Kiriko Rush to boot, but TG finds the trade early, goes in, finds Coolies, gets out, but Florida and Eagle Boop dove in as well and got traded out by Frags. It's not over yet. TG will find Xlera. There are still remnants of Infernal Blade on this point, but they will have to back out a bit and wait for a reset, as the ultimate economy looks overwhelming here.
Yeah, Ignition Pyroclasm set and ready to go for theirs, and Kitsune Rush is going to be the first to be popped.
Yeah, and will they even get a touch? Florida does manage to touch. No Primal for the contest, though. Suzu will block the rock, and Xlera with the pulse and AJ with the rail shot will find it. The opening is closed. Ignition Pyroclasm with a statement on this map. It's not what you wanted if you're Infernal Blade, especially with that Ramatra ban. But sometimes it just happens like that, especially when ringers get introduced into the situation. It's always volatile, as Ignition Pyroclasm will bring us to a map 5 here after a steamroll on Suravasa.
Though, MrBox, Infernal Blade has a chance. Maybe they could use their blade to be, cooking here, if you are the cats. But Ignition Pyroclasm, good stuff. You are set back to that 2-2 scenario. This is something that we've wanted to see from Ignition. But, as we said, the sub coming in from, for one of the sides, it's a tad bit unfortunate. That does change the fixture here from both the tempo, of course. But Inferno Blade, you still got a perfect opportunity here. You have your map choice. You have your hero bans. I do expect them to get more aggressive into the side of Ignition Pyroclasm, because if they don't, it's going to go bad for them.
Yeah, as you were saying earlier, the push map could be good for Infernal Blade with the ball comp. A lot of those maps can be good for ball. Esperanza, also Colosseo can be good as well. I'm gonna make a prediction here on the bans. I'm gonna see if I get both of these right. I think this total read, Infernal Blade will ban Lucio, and Ignition Pyroclasm will ban Genji. That's my prediction. We'll see how much of that comes true. I'm also gonna pred the map pick will be Esperanza.
Esperanza. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's my pred. I think it will be. I think I'll get two of three. I'll give myself -1.
If it happens, if we go to Esperanza, city streets of Portugal, that's always lovely. We can get Diva, huge Diva bomb potential there if Florida wanted to play Diva there. Winston, I don't see much getting played, because what we just got to see from Ignition Pyroclasm, they were really, really reading that Winston player. They were throwing rocks out the wazoo towards Inferno Blade, so I definitely don't expect that pick to be picked, but maybe we could see Esperanza. Maybe we could see the city of Toronto. Who knows? It's going to be something.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what we will see going up into this next map. A lot of possibilities open. Mike could sub in, Florida could stay in. You could see all sorts of bans. A lot of the key pieces of these comps that both these teams want to play have been banned already, right? Ramatra been banned, Ball's been banned, Juno's been banned, Kiriko has been banned once. So a lot of these pieces are off the table for bans. So it's a very, very open here. It's going to be brilliant for map 5, but I think if you're Infernal Blade, that sub maybe is a big hit. I think Summer might have been a key piece of the communication structure maybe for Infernal Blade. But warm-up map with the ringer, you always give yourself, when you get a new roster, always give yourself a warm-up map.
True.
So maybe they could come back here on this last map 5. Winner of this map will go through to face Greedy at Girls.
Oh, I think we might have lost MrBox, guys. So I'm gonna step right up in. So rest in peace. But yeah, we could probably send it to a break to have MrBox fix the problems. So we'll see you guys very, very shortly.
Okay, we're back. My internet dies very
Crazy.
quickly, and it's back. That map pick, let me read the chats. Yes, that map pick is Esperanza. I'm part of the way there.
Oh yeah.
Ignition banned Lucio, 2 of 3. Infernal banned. They banned Cassidy, guys. They banned Cassidy. I was so close.
You were
I
one
was
away.
so close.
Almost
as I predicted. I've been pretty good with the predictions today. I'm gonna be honest. I'm cooking a little too much with that Mercy pred on Route 66, but doesn't matter. This map 5, 2 of 3. I love the sunglasses, by the way. Amazing.
Oh yeah.
As
we gotta rock them. You know, if you guys are in favor of the last SPCS season, I was rocking these, I believe, for the grand final with Makoto. I want to shout out Makoto because unfortunately Makoto hasn't been here for the SPCS scene. Makoto has had some unfortunate events happen, but they're trying to find somewhere to locate themselves. So wish best for you, Makoto, up in wherever you are. But yeah, we're still here. So MrBox, something to say here about this is it's all going to come down to everything. Esperanza, you were right about. You were 1 and 2 of the hero bans, and you're looking at what could be this, decider, and it's going to be Esperanza. This is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, as we can see the map stats, Infernal Blade 2 and 2 on Colosseo. Not quite relevant, but just to note, they've been around the block on push, played it a few times. Certainly they have their theory sound and secure on this map type, as we see Mike subbing in No More Florida in. Mike is the closer here for Infernal Blade, as we also see Ignition Pyroclasm running the same roster as last map. Xlera on the Tracer, AJ on the Soj. The combination of DPS that has netted them so much value here, as the Torb is on lock again for Telemundo. We're gonna see some big turret angle.
All right, let's see what happens. Will Infernal Blade work with this situation, or will Ignition follow them up here? It's the City Straits of Portugal. Who's going to be the one to find an answer first?
Yeah, as we see the D.Va here just pressuring the high ground, making it difficult for the Ana Kiriko of Infernal Blade to set up. A little boop, a lot of pressure onto Fragster, but will survive just fine, as the payload will be pushed a bit here in this opening exchange of poke. I think this kind of slower dive style from the ball comp might be good. It's a little more static, but you do have that Juno ring, allowing the team to go up to that high ground. The D.Va getting demeched, finds Kiriko. The Sojourn will get the thing, and then more pauses, guys. More
We love this
pauses. The tech
division. We love this
pauses, guys.
division.
It wouldn't
um,
be it wouldn't be a playoff series without an abundant amount of pauses. Yes, and I believe that is Infernal Blade's pause. I don't know the exact rules with pauses, but we are maybe in a situation where that starts taking into effect now.
yeah, who knows? It's it's gonna be something. It's the rookie tier, right? This is something that we kind of expect. It's a little bit of a mix, but Inferno Blade, you still have a great chance with your DPS line. Telemundo, as we just gotten to see, found an answer there against Ignition. And if Telemundo is able to keep on doing that here in Esperanza, I feel like the favors of Inferno Blade will be running in hands for them. So let's get back up into the action here. You do get to see Inferno Blade down 2, but Ignition Pyroclasm getting pressured.
Yeah, Mike able to find a trade, but will go down to the Juno. That's a first death for the ball. We probably won't see that many of them. As a initial poke on this door here, low, wait for that ball to come back. It's a initial lead here for Ignition Pyroclasm.
Yeah, so Ignition Pyroclasm sitting at a 43.27, but the bot is getting pushed back. Infernal Blade with this. Oh my god, the stick!
Stick onto promo, finds the pick for Xlera. That's one up for Ignition Pyroclasm here on this final point, pushing the payload 40 meters and counting. Fragster will find TG as well, as it's starting to fall apart a little bit here for Infernal Blade. Mountain Mike with another trade on the backline, AJ12 down, but his team is not there to kind of support him with a fuller push onto the rest of Ignition Pyroclasm. It will be a cap now.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if Coolies will get eliminated here. It's all going to be interesting for the side of Pyroclasm. Infernal Blade, though, still set pretty good, I'd probably say. You only have taken out somewhere around 230 up on the time, but a wonderful pick there coming out on the side of Ignition.
Yeah, good opening pick onto Mike, putting even more cart pressure onto Infernal Blade. This lead is getting monstrous now, 70, 80 meters almost. It's going to be a long task for Infernal Blade to catch up, especially when they don't have that great of a pressure onto this point when they will end up pushing it. Kiriko ultimate's out, mines to kind of block that value. All teams living right now. Counter with the Kiriko ultimate and Juno Ray. Nano still available for Infernal Blade as Mike's mines find a late kill onto Coolies. That is the opening. One support down, just a Juno for Pyroclasm. That Tracer will go down as well as Mike tries to survive here, as the opening trades will go Infernal Blade's favor. But there's still some picks going Ignition's way.
Yeah, Ignition is able to find what was Mr. Mountain Mike, and Inferno Blade, you are still kind of set here. You have a Nano Blade possibility that you could use this next fight, which I do favor against Ignition Pyro, because if you misplace Fragster's bomb, you could still find more benefit, but... okay.
Xlera, another pulse bomb connection onto TG, is gonna open it up again. Something we've seen quite a bit. These connections from Xlera on the pulse bomb. Strong opening picks for Ignition Pyroclasm will send the bot going the other way. Not much progress for Infernal Blade. The Ana goes down as well. No trades found. Mike goes down again. Telemundo finds one, but it's in vain. TG finds one as well, in vain, as the cart will pass the checkpoint. Close spawns in favor of Ignition Pyroclasm now active.
Alright, this is still very, very possible, guys, for the ones up in chat for Inferno Blade. You still have 3 to 4 ultimates, 4th coming up from Mr. Mountain Mike, but I still see a bunch of potential on what Inferno Blade could do. You have this Nano Blade, which could be devastational.
Yeah, you need to click this button soon. The cart is pushing very far, 100 meters, and counting. A lot of poke pressure onto the DPS of Infernal Blade, but no kills connected. That Genji stays alive? No, dies to Fragster with a push, but will get demeched in turn. Mike found a pick in there as well, so it is a 4v4. Diva is able to remech and pushes through. Bot will stall for a little bit, but the torpedo missiles from Juno will find the Ana, and it is dire situations now for Infernal Blade. His traded fight is still not won yet. 4 minutes 50 left, half the time bank gone, and you just got a mountain to climb.
And talking about a mountain, I mean, there is a mountain up in this lobby. Mr. Mountain Mike has mines and is ready to go. Infernal Blade setting up a 5 ultimate economy against this Ignition Pyroclasm side. They are kind of set against this Ignition Pyroclasm, and, you know, I would be very, very worried.
Yeah, they have a mountain to climb, but Telemundo's turret finds value again. Sojourn shots come out, finds the Ana. Nano is popped though. Mike will receive the Nano, but TG goes down as well. The Nano does not get the value that was needed. Telemundo also down from frags, so the push from the D.Va nets a kill, and Xlera on top will find Eagle Boop on the Kiriko. Mike trying to live in the backline with that pack rat perk, but Xlera on the Tracer will hunt him down, make his life miserable, as again the forward spawns are activated for Ignition Pyroclasm. They put themselves in a commanding position again, and the time bank is down even further, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, they definitely need to do something for this engage here if you are Infernal, and yeah, it's not gonna look good.
Yeah, quick push with the Juno Ray, Pulse Bomb on top, Crunch gets 1, Mike finds 2, will maybe stabilize as the bot is being stolen by Mike, but he will die. 3 people on bot for Ignition Pyroclasm. They will get a little bit of push, but I don't know if they'll be able to regroup in time to take a fight on this corner. They might have to back up here.
Yeah, Infernal Blade, let's see what we can do. You do have this blade ready to go, but as well, you also have this Kitsune Rush, but Grace placement here from the side of Ignition Pyroclasm. They also have this Kitsune Rush, and something that's going to be interesting is how these carries position.
Yeah, they have good angles for these Kitsune Rush to get sights on point, but early pressure from TG and Mike rolling through will put a damper on maybe some pace that Ignition Pyroclasm would like to play with, as they will pop this Kitsune Rush now, and Coolies goes down to TG. TG finding the pick that's needed. Juno as well goes support. TG is opening this up. They will find some push now. Infernal Blade in with the shot at getting a reverse on this Esperance.
Yeah, so approaching final 2 minutes here up on the city streets of Portugal, and Ignition Pyroclasm, you're coming back with AJ's ultimate, which AJ could be deadly, but can TG control that with the deflex of Genji? We know what TG can do with the blade, but it needs to be more damage after more. Can they do it?
Look at that turret angle again. Netted a DMEC on Fragster. That turret has been a thorn in the side of Pyroclasm this entire time. And TG diving in with Mike into that high ground will find Coolies as well. Limited support for Ignition Pyroclasm, and they will give the cap, as Fragster will get the mech back, but driven low. It's doable now, halfway to the comeback.
Still very much do or die. If Infernal Blade dies off of this is going to be very bad. But a pulse, oh my gosh, Xlera!
Xlera finds 2 with the pulse bomb. Suzu maybe not available, maybe missed the mark, as AJ12 will slide in, find Telemundo on that Torb, and it's rough now. Minute on the clock, and you just got reset. 60 meters about to the cap, but if there's anything that this ball comp is good at, it's stalling the point for a long time. Just Mike needs to make sure not to die and get a stagger here.
As we say it, Mike's just gonna die. So 40 seconds, Infernal Blade still has stuff to work with. Fragster able to get more onto this opposing side of Infernal. And yeah, if you're Ignition, you could just launch a D.Va Bomb now if you want. Force them up into their spawn.
They have the ultimates to maybe threaten a full cap here with the Juno Ray and rail shots for the Sojourn, but Infernal Blade have a lot of ultimates to deny it. They do use those mines first, forcing them back. The cart will start, or the payload will start pushing in the direction of Infernal Blade, but it will get stopped at this corner again. D.Va is very good at kind of anchoring these angles here as they go to peel the Sojourn, dive from the ball, TG's forced, but TG on the Genji will find one. Fragster returns with a pick, dueling Juno Rays. AJ's overclock on top in this overtime will find Igglediva. No supports on the field. Diva Bomb will secure it. That is Ignition Pyroclasm finding the map 5 win. Breaking the serve as Infernal Blade did earlier in the series. Ignition Pyroclasm wins on the map pick of their opponent to win the series. Xlera, we will see this highlight. I can tell you it's Pulse Bomb 2K right now.
Yeah, I mean, Xlera, even though not even up on this map too, Xlera was able to find more and more Diva, pulse bombs actually. Diva does not have pulse, but yeah, Ignition Pyroclasm cooking it with Xlera up on the Tracer. Those pulse bombs have been immaculate, and yeah, I liked what we even gotten to see from AJ too. The Sojourn was clean. Every tad bit of event from this Ignition Pyroclasm side really followed up into the Dying Embers. And taking a look at that scoreline, right? You got to see a big flip in that scoreline, but hey, you had a ringer come up in for Infernal Blade that changed the whole entire momentum. And I kind of feel bad because you look at this Infernal Blade squad, they were running so good. If it wasn't for the DC or the unfortunate event that happened, Infernal Blade would have definitely taken this. So Ignition Pyroclasm, you got to go up into your next match with a kind of a, thinking set after this one, because you could have lost this.
Yeah, both teams easily could have won this series. Kind of falls apart at the end for Infernal Blade, as you said. But ultimately, you can't control the circumstances. You have to play with what's in front of you. And if the situation in front of you is disadvantaged, you just have to play it. Infernal Blade did a good job recovering on that map 5, but it wasn't enough. Ignition Pyroclasm will take the map win, and they will verse Greedy Girls in the next round of lower bracket. I think both of these teams, it's unfortunate that they had to play each other with how the bracket ended up going. I think if you were predicting a lower bracket run, you would choose either of these two teams to make the run all the way back to that grand final.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting what the rookie division can cook up here, up in the SPCS. And let's take a look at our MVP of today's match. I know I definitely got to see a crazy one out there, and yeah, MrBox, it's going to be a fantastic one.
Xlera, amazing pulse bombs from Xlera all through the series. Very rarely missing them. A few times. Didn't catch them on stream though. So I'm curious to see what that pulse bomb attach rate was. Probably pretty high, but just consistent threat on the Tracer, on that off angle. But also you cannot highlight, you have to highlight the rest of the team as well. 80-12 doing amazing work. Fragster as well. Both supports doing amazing work for Ignition Pyroclasm, picking up this map 5 win. It's a huge confidence boost, especially after that loss in the first round of that kind of double bracket series. So it's good to get the momentum going, as we said at the top of the broadcast. Momentum in these lower bracket runs is key. Getting a map 5 win like this will set you up in your next map to have all the confidence to knock it out of the park and keep moving forward in this lower bracket.
Yeah, and matter of fact, Prod, if you can show us the bracket scheme of things, I know we do have some, matches that already happens, but let's take a look at this. So we do get to see the semifinals, which you did quote, a 3-0 victory. That's pretty dominant. And same with Mass Effect. Both of the two teams are going to be fighting up in that upper final, but it's unfortunate to see this Infernal Blade team leave. They had a dominant season through that SPCS run, and I definitely give credit to Mr. Mountain Mike bringing this squad up in and fighting their way into this stage of events. But hey, this was a great season for them at least. But Ignition Pyroclasm, it's not over for you. Your lower bracket run is still gonna be on for you. But yeah, you will be taking on Grady, and we still don't have the winner of Beast Nuts versus Nemesis. Womp womp. But,
yeah, maybe rescheduled on that match. You'll have to check at spcs.slmn.gg for all the information on all of the matches this week in both Rookie intermediate, and advanced tier. There's 3 tiers, guys. This is the Plat Diamond tier, if you guys were wondering, to all those maybe new viewers out there.
I'm a diamond.
Yes. Diamond tier is always, to me, is always the most interesting tier to watch at this level, because it's not super macro heavy. There's a lot of room for individual plays to kind of shine. There's a lot of wacky stuff that happens. It's always a great time. So yeah, congratulations to Ignition Pyroclasm. Commiseration to Infernal Blade. Unfortunate loss in the map 5, but you go again. Next season is another opportunity to try and push for that SPCS title. We do have other matches this week. Wednesday, not Thursday though, just Wednesday. Intermediate tier. Yes, production.
Yeah.
Do we have the graphic for it? Yes. Game got rescheduled to Wednesday. Aura Fury Concordia Crimson is the match for Wednesday, is what we're being told. I think that's all we have for you guys here on this lower bracket match. I've been MrBox on the cast with Nyah. It was an amazing time to have you guys be able to present this match for you guys. Really exciting one. Hopefully Wednesday will be just as exciting. But I think Rod does not want to be here that much longer. So that'll be us. That'll be it for all of us here. We will see you on Wednesday. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, everyone.